Undercover boss. Books a meal at his buffet. Freezes as he hears an employee ridiculing a hungry man. Imagine walking into a place where you expect to be treated with kindness, only to be met with judgment and mockery. What would you do? Would you speak up or stay silent? This is the story of a man who did just that, stepped in when no one else would, and changed everything for the better. If you like stories about courage, leadership, and real change, then this one's for you. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and let's see what happened next. It was a quiet evening in a small town called Fairview. The neon sign outside a buffet flickered weakly, casting a warm but tired glow on the cracked sidewalk. Inside, people moved with practiced efficiency, serving food, wiping tables, and managing the line. But not everyone was focused on doing their job right. A man named Jason, dressed in a white apron and a hat that looked too big for his head, stood behind the counter. He didn't notice a customer standing nearby because he was busy scolding someone else. That customer wasn't paying, not with money anyway. He was asking for leftovers, just scraps, just enough to eat. "Sir," Jason said, louder than necessary, "you can't just wait around and ask for scraps. If you want food, you pay like everyone else." The man being spoken to didn't beg. He didn't yell. He just stood there, quietly, looking worn out, maybe in his 50s, wearing a thin coat that barely kept him warm. He mumbled something under his breath, something Jason probably didn't want to hear. Jason snapped, "Look, I don't care if you're hungry. Go to a shelter or something. You're creeping people out." That's when someone stepped in. Her name was Sarah. She worked at the salad bar, and she had seen this before. Maybe not exactly like this, but close enough. She reached under the counter, pulled out a small plate, and quietly filled it with some chicken, rice, and vegetables. Then she walked over to the older man and handed it to him. "Here," she said gently. "Just don't tell anyone I gave you this, okay?" He blinked, took the plate, and nodded. "Thank you," he whispered. Jason wasn't happy. "You serious, Sarah?" he asked, throwing down his serving spoon. "You're just going to feed every stray now?" Sarah didn't flinch. "He's a person, Jason." Meanwhile, in the corner of the dining area, another man sat quietly. His name was Mark, but no one knew that yet. He had come in earlier that day, booked a meal under a fake name through a third-party app used by his company for customer feedback. He had done this kind of thing before, at different locations, different times. He wanted to see how things were really going, without the pressure of being the boss. But tonight, he wasn't ready for what he heard. He watched the exchange carefully. He saw how Jason treated the older man, how Sarah tried to help, and how no one else seemed to care. He paid for his meal, took his tray, and sat near the back, watching. After 15 minutes, he got up and walked over to Sarah. "Hey," he said casually, pretending to be filling a cup at the drink machine. "That guy you helped, does that happen a lot?" She hesitated. "Sometimes. Doesn't ask for much. And management, are they okay with it?" She gave a tight smile. "Management doesn't really care unless someone complains." Mark nodded slowly. "You ever get in trouble for helping?" She looked down. "Once." Jason told the manager. "I got a verbal warning, whatever that means." Mark turned to leave, paused and said, "Thanks. That was decent of you." She looked surprised. "Thanks." He stepped outside, breathing in the cool night air. The neon sign still flickered. The paint on the windows was peeling. It wasn't a bad place, per se. Just neglected. Forgotten. He pulled out his phone and called someone. "Hey, this is Mark. I need you to schedule a manager meeting for tomorrow morning. Store 13. I saw something tonight we need to talk about." He hung up, looked back through the window. Jason was still standing around, scrolling on his phone. Sarah was washing her station. The older man was gone. Mark had seen enough. Tomorrow, he'd be back. And this time, they'd know exactly who he was. The next morning, Mark arrived before opening. The parking lot was half empty. The air was cold. the kind that made your breath visible and your patience thin. He parked around the side, out of view, and walked in through the employee door with a spare key he hadn't used in years. A few heads turned when he stepped inside. No one recognized him. At first, he didn't say a word. The kitchen buzzed with activity. A young cook was chopping onions. A dishwasher loaded trays into the machine. 2 servers leaned on a counter, scrolling through their phones. Mark stepped into the break room and closed the door. A moment later, the store manager walked in, holding a coffee cup and a clipboard. "Morning," she said automatically. Then she froze. Her eyes widened. "Oh, Mr. Morgan." Mark didn't smile. "Yes. We need to talk." She stiffened. "Of course. Should I get the district manager on the line?" "No," he said evenly. "This needs to start here." They walked out to the dining area. Chairs were still flipped onto tables. The air smelled like yesterday's fried chicken and bleach. Mark gestured toward a booth. "Sit." She did. "I didn't know you were coming today." "I was here last night. As a customer." He paused. "You wouldn't have known. I came in under a different name. Sat in the back. Watched how your team interacts with customers. Watched how they treat each other." She blinked. I didn't see." "There's a reason this store is slipping," he continued. "And it's not the food. It's the culture. It's what you allow to happen under your leadership." She swallowed hard. "I run a tight ship. We follow protocols." "Protocols didn't stop one of your employees from berating a man in need." Color drained from her face. "He didn't cause a scene. He didn't steal. He just stood there, hoping someone might have enough decency to give him a plate. Instead of compassion, he was humiliated. Loudly. Publicly." She lowered her gaze. "I didn't know." "No, you didn't. Because you weren't on the floor. You were in the back like usual, letting someone like Jason run your front end." Her eyes flicked up again. "Jason isn't a manager. He doesn't need a title to set the tone. People follow him because no one's stopping him." She hesitated. "He's got seniority. Been here 6 years, gets hours covered, trains the new hires, handles rushes when we're short. And that gives him the right to decide who deserves dignity?" She went quiet. "I want him gone immediately." She looked stunned. "You're terminating him without hesitation?" He nodded. "Bring the rest of the staff in. I want to speak to them before opening." Within minutes, the crew gathered in the dining area. Sarah stood near the back, arms crossed lightly, eyes flicking to Mark with quiet curiosity. Jason strolled in last, yawning, still wearing the same apron from the night before. Mark stood in front of them. No podium, no fanfare. "My name is Mark Morgan. I own this company. Some of you may have heard of me. Some of you probably haven't. That's on me." A few glanced at each other. "I built this business from the ground up. I know what it's like to clean fryers, scrub toilets, and close alone on a Friday night. I did all of it. And I did it because I believed this place could matter, that people could come here and be treated well, eat a good meal, feel seen." He let that sit. "Last night, I saw something that went against everything this company stands for. A man walked in off the street. He wasn't loud, he wasn't aggressive, he was hungry, and instead of compassion, he was mocked." Jason shifted his weight, arms folded. "One of you stepped in and did the right thing. The rest either watched or looked away." Sarah's eyes dropped to the floor. "And the one who decided to speak for this company without permission? Jason." Jason straightened. "With all due respect, I didn't know who the guy was. We get people like that all the time. If we hand out food to everyone, you're done." Mark said flatly, "You're no longer employed here. You can collect your things and leave now." Jason blinked. What? You can't be serious. I bring in most of the weekend crew. I cover 5 closings a week. None of that gives you the right to dehumanize someone. You're not a leader. You're a liability. Jason's jaw tightened. This is ridiculous. I'm not debating this. You will be processed today. Leave your keycard. Jason looked around, waiting for someone to jump in. No one spoke. He tossed his card onto a table and stormed out the back. Mark turned back to the group. I'm not here to scare anyone. I'm here to fix what's broken, and that starts with accountability. He looked at Sarah. You stepped up. You didn't make a scene. You didn't ask for recognition. You just did the right thing. That matters. She looked up, surprised. Starting today, your lead server. You'll get a raise and we'll talk about training you for assistant management. She blinked. I thank you. You earned it. He looked at the others. I want this store to be better. That means no more shortcuts, no more looking the other way. If someone needs help, we help. If someone disrespects a customer or a co-worker, they are out. No warnings, no excuses. The room was silent. I'll be around all day, watching, listening, working, if I need to. If you've got concerns, ideas, frustrations, bring them to me. I'll hear them. He picked up a chair, flipped it down onto the floor, and sat. Let's open the doors. Moral of the story: leadership isn't about authority. It's about action. When you see something wrong, step in. When you see someone struggling, help.